corn comes in, trucker rail, goes through I-12-15, over to our leg, and over to grain handling. Drops down into the top of the two firms. I'm tired. Anyway, the two grain bins, and then drops out of the grain bins into our process leg, goes to grain milling, goes through a scalper, clears out corn cobs and rocks and that sort of stuff, down into the surge bin, into our two hammer mills, rotary feeders, and then into the hammer mills, and then through another rotary feeder, through and over into the slurry tank. And each of these things that you're seeing here are all data points that are being brought in from the system. So, for example, one of these is our backset, which tells us how much backset we're using on the front end. Backset's thin stillage, basically used water left over, kind of spent grain. And so that comes into the front end. This shows how much processed condensate we're using, how much, that's the processed condensate, that's actually the ammonia coming in, so I mean, there's a lot that's controlled from this board. So, moves from the slurry into the liquefaction tank, then from the liquefaction down here through our beer lick exchangers, like we talked about out there, the mash cooler, forward to fermentation, and where it goes into one of the 3 fermenters at a time. Once it's done in the fermenter, we forward it into the beer well. From the beer well, we go to heat recovery, which is the other side of this. We're going from the beer well through those 2 exchangers and then out to the beer column. Goes into the beer column preheater where it's heated up before we introduce it into the column. Then into the column. Column's going to boil off the alcohol, some of the water. That's going to move forward into the rectifier. The solids come out here and forward to first effect. Goes into first effect. We actually drive first effect with rectifier overheads. So that's what's heating it up. The steam that comes off of this is actually driving second and third effect. The slightly higher solids come out here and go forward to the whole stillage tank. From the whole stillage tank into the 3 centrifuges to our thin stillage tank where it's either used as backset or it's forwarded to third effect, and then into second effect where it's turned into syrup and added to, here's our syrup, and then it goes to our syrup mixer where it's mixed with the wet feed. Let's go back to distillation real quick so you can see the alcohol side. The alcohol comes off of the rectifier column and either goes to first effect, like we just talked about to drive those, or it goes to the mole sieves. Mole sieve is going to take out that last 5% of alcohol, or 5% of water, excuse me. Comes out from here and heads forward into our tank farm area. 6101, I know 2, those are the day tanks. And then it's denatured and put into our storage tanks, and then loaded to the truck or rail. So that's kind of a quick overview.
You have ethanol in your day tank right now?
No, it's a faulty gauge.
Yeah, that's a really faulty gauge. and these
Say
other
there's
ones.
money here.
Yeah, actually, because it blips down and then blips back up.
Yeah,
I mean,
bang.
we've been making so much alcohol so fast, it's crazy. And actually, none
During
of
the
them
tour,
will
huh?
show lower than 10% because of